You ready? Let's get started. Alright, 3 monsters are guarding a prisoner. They take turns, but at some point, the prisoner manages to escape. One of these monsters let him out. But who? It's this one. Look, there's a zipper here, so it's a costume, not a real monster. And the person behind the disguise is the prisoner's wife. Oh. Take a good look at these 2 boys. They look really scared, but only one of them is in real danger. Can you tell who? This boy can run away from the bees, but being stuck in a closed room during a flood is way more dangerous. So the answer is boy number 2. Henry has been chatting with his lover on a dating app for months. They finally decide to meet in Italy. He's excited. He knocks on the hotel room door and then, boom, his wife opens it. Wait, what? How did she know? She swears she never touched his phone. So how did she find out? Because she was the lover. She made a fake profile and talked to him the whole time while pretending to be someone else. Yep, he got caught. Hey, do you like pina coladas? William is offered $1 million, but there's a catch. He has to survive being chased by a wild animal for a whole day, and he has to be far from any roads or cars. The good news is, he gets to choose from a poisonous snake, a hungry bear, or a great white shark. What gives him the best chance? His best pick is the great white shark. The rules mention cars, but they don't say anything about boats. So he can stay safely in a boat the whole time and just wait for the day to be over. Michael is at the office working hard on a new project. At the end of his shift, his boss calls and says, "Come to my office." On the way there, Michael walks past his coworkers' desks, and they all look nervous. He gets to the boss's room, closes the door, and hears, "You're fired." But why? Did he do something wrong? Look at his coworkers. They're all wearing ties, but Michael isn't. He didn't follow the company dress code, and that's why he got fired. Wow, that seems harsh. So Michael decides to get revenge and delete all the company's important files before he leaves for good. He tries to log into his boss's account and hits "Forgot password." Then a security question pops up. What has a thumb and 4 fingers but isn't a hand? Can you help Michael? The answer is a glove. A thief is running from the police. He makes it to the roof of a building and ends up cornered. He's got 3 options: jump to the next building, go down the fire escape, or check the maintenance closet. What's his best move? Jumping is a no-go because the next building is way too far. Going down the fire escape is safe, but the police will catch him sooner or later. So his best move is to hide in the maintenance locker and hope they don't find him. Lisa is a very famous model. She goes to a casting for a luxury brand and hands over her portfolio. They like her a lot but go, "Sorry, you will never be on our runways." Do you know why? Lisa really is a famous model, but she's a hand model. Unfortunately, she's way too short for the runway. Students are taking a multiple-choice test in class. Suddenly, the top student asks the teacher, "Can I go to the bathroom?" The teacher says, "No." They keep going. And then he asks, "Am I doing this problem right?" The teacher replies, "I can't answer that." A few minutes later, the same student goes, "Brilliant! I think I've got it." At that point, the teacher realizes something weird is going on. What is it? They're cheating. The student isn't speaking randomly. Each sentence starts with the letter of the correct answer, so he's basically helping out his friends. James and Mary are on their first date. While they're talking, he mentions he loves Marvel superheroes. Mary immediately goes, "Yeah, me too. I can't stand DC heroes." Right away, James realizes she's lying. She's just saying that to impress him. How can he tell? Because if you look closer, she's wearing a Batman t-shirt under her jacket, and Batman is DC. So yeah, she's not being honest. Nancy, Donna, and Carol are in a girl band. They're getting ready for a TV interview, and the host asks how old they are. Their manager says, Nancy is 6 years older than the youngest, Donna is right in the middle, and together they're 51 years old. So, how old is each of them? Carol is 14, Donna is 17, and Nancy is 20. A rich woman walks into a store and asks for a leather jacket. The salesperson leans in and says, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." She asks again, only this time she's way louder. Still, he doesn't understand. Why not? Easy. That's because they're not speaking the same language. Two influencers are trying to get the perfect selfie for social media. One climbs to the top of the tallest building in town. The other steps into a lake full of crocodiles. Who is in more danger? The one on the building. She's so focused on the selfie that she doesn't notice she's right on the edge. She could lose her balance and fall. The other one's close to shore, so she still has a chance of getting out of there alive. Anthony left his dog, Freckles, with a neighbor while he was traveling. When he gets back, she greets him and hands Freckles over. But the second Anthony sees the dog, he knows it isn't really his. Look closely at these two pictures. Can you spot 3 differences between the real Freckles and the fake one? Yep, here they are. Anthony was right. That's not his dog. 5 teenagers live together and are home alone. One is cooking. Another is watching TV. The third is playing catch in the yard. The fourth one is taking a bath. So, what's the fifth one doing? She's playing catch with the third kid. All the other things can be done solo. 2 employees got transferred to new cities. Look at the pictures and tell me, who moved to a much more dangerous place? It's guy number 2, because he can't control the air quality, and the situation looks pretty bad. Guy number 1 can always find shelter from the sun. Penelope dreams of being a famous singer. Her manager explains that every woman at his agency has to choose a stage name. Then he points to the photos of their singers on the wall and says, for example, Ella is now Salty, Katie is known as Nutty, and Annie became Light. Following the same logic, what will Penelope's stage name be? Floral, Spark, Rose, or Crispy? The logic is that all the stage names have 5 letters, so Penelope's new stage name will be Spark. Gary is a finalist on a TV show, and this is his last challenge. One of these girls is holding a suitcase full of gold bars. If he figures out who has it, the money is his. If he loses, the girl keeps the prize. So the first girl says, "The money isn't here, see?" The second girl says, "My suitcase is too light to have that kind of money." And the third one goes, "My suitcase is too small for that." So which girl is lying and actually has the money? It's girl number 2. She says her suitcase is light, but she's the only one who has set it on the table. That's because it's actually heavy from the gold bars. A cyclist is found unconscious beside his bike on a deserted country road. The chain is off the bike. His helmet is still perfectly strapped on. People assume he crashed, but a detective is sure something else happened and the scene was staged. What gave it away? If he had crashed, the chain would be bent, twisted, or jammed, not just cleanly slipped off. So, someone removed it to make it look like a fall. And that's it for today. So, how many did you get right? Drop your score in the comments.
At a funeral, a woman lies in her coffin with one hand hanging out, holding a piece of chalk. On the floor, she managed to write just one letter: A. In front of her stand 3 pregnant women, Amy, Anna, and Ava. One of them must be behind what happened. But who? Look closely. Anna's bouquet looks a little strange. One of her flowers isn't a flower at all. It's the handle of a knife she tried to hide. After school, Emma has a strange feeling that someone's following her. She walks faster until she reaches her locker. Inside, there's a note written in red letters. It says, "Readers unite now." Can you figure out what it means? Divide the word into 3 rows, then read the first column vertically. It spells run. During a bungee jumping adventure, Lily is about to put on her safety gear when she suddenly falls. Oh no! A camera captures the moment and 3 people are nearby: her sister, her best friend, and the instructor. One of them pushed her. Who do you think it was? Let's see. The sister has both arms outstretched, but she's actually trying to grab Lily. The instructor is preparing the gear for a safe jump, but her best friend is trying way too hard to act innocent. He's the one who pushed Lily. David walks into an old haunted house. He steps into a dusty classroom, looks around, and laughs. Ha! There's nothing scary about this place. But suddenly, the lights flicker and the door slams shut behind him. He's trapped. On the blackboard, glowing numbers start to appear. He realizes he has to solve this puzzle to escape. Can you figure it out? Here's the trick. Each line adds the current sum to the previous result, so the answer is 36. After saying the answer out loud, David watches the numbers vanish from the board. But suddenly, a piece of chalk starts moving on its own, writing the word C over and over again. Now David's confused. He doesn't understand what's going on. Do you notice anything strange? Look closely. In the middle of all those C words, there's one that says C. Oh! This school's ghost must be telling him to look at something. Quickly, David turns around and spots two dusty mirrors, both showing his reflection, but something feels off. One of them isn't real. So which one shows the true reflection? Remember, the chalk was moving by itself. David never touched it, so the real reflection is the one that shows his empty hands. A jewelry store is robbed and the security camera catches the moment. But we can only see the thief's hand reaching for the jewels. The next day, the police bring in 3 suspects and ask them to show their hands. Can you tell who the thief is? It's suspect number 3. Look closely. There's a band-aid right where the thief's tattoo was during the robbery. He's just trying to cover it up. 2 pairs of twins walk into an eyewear store. Ruby and Rose pick these glasses. Oliver chooses his pair next. Now it's William's turn. Take a close look at the glasses. Which ones will he pick? There's a pattern, and it's not about matching with their twins. They're choosing the color of their glasses based on the first letter of their names. Ruby and Rose went for red. Oliver picked orange, so William will choose the white ones. A couple is on a road trip when suddenly they hear a loud noise. Lisa hits the brakes hard. She gets out of the car and runs to check what happened. Turns out the tire's flat. She shouts to her husband, "Brian, come here!" But he says he can't help. Why not? Lisa ran out of the car so fast she didn't realize she locked Brian in. He simply can't open the door. A university opened new teaching positions, but with one special rule. The new professors had to know how to write with their left hand. 3 candidates took the test and wrote a word on the board. The judges saw the middle one writing with his right hand and immediately disqualified him. But he swears he followed the rule. How is that possible? Well, the rule said teachers must know how to write with their left hand, but it never said they couldn't also use the right one. The candidate is ambidextrous, so he still qualifies for the job. Ford was waiting to see the doctor, but he was getting impatient. He started complaining nonstop to the young man sitting next to him. After a few minutes, he realized the guy hadn't said a single word. Ford got annoyed until the young man said, "Sorry, I couldn't hear you." Was he telling the truth? Yes, he was. We all saw the noise-canceling earbud in his right ear, but what Ford didn't know was that the young man was deaf in his left one. Uh-oh. A man is flying in a helicopter when the pilot suddenly passes out. There are 3 things he can do: try to fly it himself, use the emergency radio, or jump with an improvised parachute. What should he do? Don't panic. Trying to fly it alone is way too risky, and jumping with an improvised parachute is even worse. But the radio connects him to rescuers who can guide him safely. The best move is to call for help. A woman is in her office when a flower pot crashes down from the floor above. Someone tried to harm her. She looks up and sees 3 coworkers nearby: Clara, Mia, and Daniela. Who did it? Let's see. Clara and Mia just look shocked, but Daniela is turning away, hiding one of her hands behind her back. And it's covered in dirt. She's the one who pushed the pot. It's late at night when Sarah gets a call from her boss asking her to go to the office right away. She needs a last-minute babysitter for her daughter, so she calls her cousin. The young girl doesn't answer the phone, but texts back, "I can't, I'm not feeling well," and sends a picture to prove it. She's wearing cozy pajamas and looks pale, but Sarah immediately knows she's lying. How? Look closely. The photo's background shows daylight streaming through the window, but Sarah called her at night. The picture must have been taken on another day. A woman is climbing Mount Everest when a freezing wind hits her. She finds 3 items nearby: a blanket, a bottle, and a coat. Only one can save her life. Which should she choose? Think fast. The blanket is too thin, and the bottle has cold water in it, so it won't stop the chill. But the coat can protect her from the freezing wind and hypothermia. That's the right choice. Samuel has a secret date with his lover at a hotel. The only thing he knows is that she's somewhere on the 2nd floor, and her room number has 3 digits. But he's not sure which one. To keep anyone from finding out, she hid the room number inside their secret code. Can you figure it out? She's on the 2nd floor, so the room number must start with 2. The only 2 in the code is right here, followed by 5 and 6. That means her room is number 256. Dan and his wife are training for a marathon at the end of the month. Today was practice day. Dan left home at 1 p.m. His wife left half an hour later, and she runs twice as fast as he does. Yet, she never catches up. How is that possible? They're married, but they don't live in the same house. In fact, they were running in completely different cities. So of course, she was never going to catch up. And that's it for today's Mystery Marathon. So how many riddles did you get right? Tell us in the comments and challenge your friends to see if they can beat your score.
3 friends went on a weekend getaway at a fancy hotel. During dinner, Jack ordered a seafood platter. Paul had a shrimp salad, and Sam went for a hamburger. By the end of the next day, one of them got food poisoning. Who was it? Seafood usually causes trouble just a few hours after eating it, not a whole day later. Since the person only felt bad by the end of the next day, it must have been Sam. It was a regular day at the museum, until, suddenly, the lights turned off and the alarm started blaring. Oh no! A painting's gone missing! Take a good look at these 3 suspects. Can you tell who took it? Wait a second. This lady's scarf looks way too big. She's hiding the painting underneath it. A witch finds an old book sealed by magic. To open it, she must say the total number of triangles on the cover. Can you count them all? There are 8 triangles. Well done. Carla found a backpack on the train. Inside, there was a screwdriver, a sandwich, and a newspaper from last week. She handed it to security, and they suspect it might belong to one of these people: a man who just got off at this station, a worker who repaired the train yesterday, or a tourist who visited the city last week. So, whose backpack is it? Look at the sandwich. There's steam coming out of it. That means it's still hot. So the backpack must belong to the man who just got off the train. A hacker was trying to crack a password. But all he found was this strange clue. He tried adding, subtracting, and even multiplying the numbers, but nothing worked. Then he realized it wasn't about math at all. Can you figure it out? It's all about the number of circles. In 1985, there are 3 of them, see? So the answer is 3. Lisa was watching a TV show with her boyfriend when she suddenly had to rush to the bathroom. "Pause it and wait for me," she said. Her boyfriend agreed. But when Lisa came back, she was sure the TV was showing a different scene. Can you spot 5 differences? Yep, there they are. Olivia and Theo are co-workers traveling to a meeting in another city, and they booked flights on different airlines. Both planes were in the air when something went wrong. On Olivia's flight, her window suddenly cracked. On Theo's flight, the oxygen mask dropped from the ceiling. But only one of them is really in danger. Who is it? Olivia's fine. Airplane windows have multiple layers, and it was only the inner one that cracked. But Theo's in real trouble. His oxygen mask didn't work, which means he has no air supply. A teacher walks into class and shouts, "Surprise test!" 2 students immediately stand up, saying they can't take it because they need to go to the nurse's office. She asks why, and they both say they hurt their legs. But only one of them is telling the truth. Who is it? It's the boy. The girl's pretending. Look, she's standing on her supposedly injured leg. Henry just finished his workout. He headed to the locker room and panicked when he realized his phone was missing. The gym owner questioned 3 people who were nearby. A woman said she was taking a shower when it happened. A guy said he had just walked into the locker room. And a personal trainer said both his hands were busy lifting weights. So, who took the phone? It was the woman. If she was really in the shower after her workout, why is she still wearing gym clothes? She's not telling the truth. Jess just had a son. She held him for a moment and said, "He'll be called Lucas." A nurse came over and said she needed to take Lucas for some tests. When she came back, she handed him to Jess, but Jess froze. "That's not my son," she said. How is she so sure? Because if you remember, Lucas had a birthmark on his head. So yeah, they accidentally switched him. A food inspector walks into a restaurant and asks to see the menu. The chef gets nervous, but brings out 4 of their best dishes. The inspector takes one look and calls the authorities to shut the place down. He says there's something wrong with each plate. Can you find all the issues? Let's see, the first dish has a cockroach. The second one has mold. The third has a strand of hair. And the last one? Well, the problem isn't the food, it's the drink that comes with it. That looks really suspicious. Kate and Paul were playing badminton. They played 5 matches, and each of them won 3 times. How is that possible? Well, that's because they weren't playing against each other. They had different opponents. At a charity auction for billionaires, a necklace worth $1 billion suddenly disappeared. The detective had to find the thief without being seen, so he hid behind a curtain and could only see the backs of 3 women. One had blonde curls decorated with seashells. Another had bright rainbow hair with sparkling clips. The third had red hair braided with coral. So, which of the 3 women stole the necklace? It's the blonde one. Seashells are light, so why are her curls pulled down like that? She must have hidden the necklace inside her hair and attached it to the shells. Hey, don't be afraid. This vampire's actually pretty nice. He decided to stop drinking blood. Luckily, he found the perfect substitute, tomato juice. So he went on vacation and packed 48 little juice boxes. He drinks one every 2 hours. So, how long until he runs out of tomato juice? Well, let's do the math. 48 boxes times 2 hours equals 96 hours. That's 4 full days of tomato juice. A young woman was kidnapped by a crazy math teacher. He locked her in a tank that started filling with water and said, "The only way to stop it is to answer this question. Can you write the number 89 using only the number 8? Can you help her before it's too late?" And the answer is 88 plus 8 divided by 8. That equals 89. Did you get it right? 3 hikers see a huge warning sign, high avalanche risk. But they didn't turn back. Minutes later, they hear a deep rumble. The avalanche is coming. Each of them reacts in a completely different way. Samuel crouches down and holds his backpack over his head. Jack stays on the same path but speeds up. Dylan slows down a bit and starts moving diagonally. So, who's got the best chance of survival? It's Dylan. Moving diagonally helps you get out of the avalanche's direct path. Charlotte meets her cousin at the park. It's a beautiful sunny day, not a single cloud in the sky. But something feels off. Her cousin is carrying an umbrella that's completely soaking wet, while his clothes are totally dry. Weird, right? Well, take a good look around the park. Can you guess what happened? See that little sprinkler over there? It's off now, but just a few moments ago, it was spraying water everywhere. He opened his umbrella to protect himself from getting drenched. At a wedding, all the bridesmaids were told to wear colors that are also fruit names. On the big day, they lined up next to each other, and the bride was furious. But why? Who broke the rule? Let's see. She's wearing orange, she's in a pink dress, and the third one picked olive. Those are all fruits. But the last one, she's in mint, so she's the one who messed up. At a charity event, a millionaire showed up with his new companion. His friends wanted to test how smart she was. So one of them said, "A man, a plan, a canal, Panama." Right away, she knew exactly what it was. Can you tell? Pangram, palindrome, acronym, lipogram. And the right answer is B, palindrome. That's when a word or phrase reads the same backward and forward. So how many challenges did you get right? Tell us in the comments. A tourist got lost and found 3 houses. In the first one, the light is on, but the windows are boarded up from the inside. In the second one, the doors are wide open and a radio is playing inside. In the third house, everything is covered in dust, but there's a warm cup of tea on the table. Which house is the safest to enter? It's the third one. The tea is still warm, which means the owner has just stepped out. Mr. Johnson keeps his socks in a dresser drawer. He always buys them in only 3 colors: brown, blue, and green, and stores them all together. Mr. Johnson has an important meeting. He pulls the socks out of the drawer one by one without looking. What is the minimum number of socks he must take out to be sure he has a matching pair of the same color? 4 socks are enough because the first 3 might be all different colors. 3 people are sitting at a table: a doctor, the son of the doctor's father, and the father of the doctor's son. How are these people related? Well, we have the doctor, her brother, and her husband here. The doctor is a woman. The son of the doctor's father is her brother, and the father of the doctor's son is her husband. An archaeologist went down into an underground passage with 3 corridors. He can smell food from the first corridor, but the cobweb at the entrance was untouched. There's light coming from the second corridor, but there were many old torches with no traces of soot. The third passage was completely dark, but the floor was covered in fresh, muddy footprints. Which corridor did he choose to find people? The third one. The footprints are the most reliable sign. Jamie was offered a pay of $20 for every working day and a deduction of $30 for each non-working day. After 60 days, he got nothing. How many days did he work? If Jamie had worked every day, he would have made $1,200. For each non-working day, he lost $50. Since after 60 days, the worker earned nothing, he lost $1,200. Divided by 50, and we get 24 non-working days. So the number of working days was 36. A famous detective stared at a strange note. It was partly written in Asian characters, partly in numbers, and partly in the English alphabet. Can you read it? It's simple. When you remove all the foreign symbols and numbers, you get "I love Brightside." Aww. 3 friends boast to each other. One says that she has a loving husband and kids. Another claims she has a brilliant career, a rich husband, and children. The third one says she has all the same, but one of them is lying. In reality, she is a single mother. Who is it? It's the first girl. Her tattoo has 2 matching symbols, a big and a small butterfly, a subtle hint at mother and child. Lizzie decided to start a culinary vlog to make some extra cash. She filmed the first video about cooking with homemade pasta. She posted it and got a bunch of angry comments saying that she is a liar. Why did her viewers decide so? There are 3 empty instant noodle containers sitting on the counter. Obviously, that pasta wasn't homemade. Sam and Sarah are competing for the scholarship of their dreams from the Astronomy Society. The final presentation will decide who wins. After looking at the presentations of both contestants, the jury chose Sarah and told Sam to get more serious if he wants to achieve something. Why did they say so? Well, in his presentation, Saturn is where the Sun should be, and Mars switched places with our Earth. Airport security receives an anonymous phone call. An infamous criminal is about to try to leave the country with the diamonds and emeralds she stole. The security easily identified the criminal after scanning her luggage. What's suspicious here? This shoe is clearly larger than all the others, and it doesn't have a pair, so she's probably hiding something inside it. Jackson was going home from a night shift and decided to have breakfast at a roadside diner. There was just one more visitor inside and a waitress who seemed a bit weird. Jackson ordered a full breakfast for $20, but when it was time to pay, the waitress brought him a bill that said $505. He paid, went outside, and called the police to report an emergency. Why did he do it? The waitress typed that number because it looks like SOS. Something is really wrong there. A farmer once challenged an engineer, a physicist, and a mathematician to fence off the largest amount of area using the least amount of fence. The engineer shaped his fence like a large circle. The physicist made a long line and said that fencing off half the Earth was the best. The mathematician laughed at them and showed his design, which beat the others. What did he do? The mathematician made a small circular fence around himself and declared himself to be on the outside. Ooh, smart. Nancy stayed late at work and got locked up in the office. To get out, she must guess the 3-digit code to the door. There's a calendar next to it, and it has the letters WMF at the bottom. Can you help her figure out the code? It's 3:15. The letters stand for the days of the week, Wednesday, Monday, and Friday, and the code is their numbers. Now Steve is going on a blind date with a friend of a friend. All he knows is that she'll be wearing a polka dot skirt. When he arrives at the restaurant, he sees 3 girls in polka dot skirts. So, who is the one? There are 3 empty plates and 2 glasses on the first table, so the girl isn't alone. The second girl has almost finished her coffee and is working on her laptop, so it must be the third girl, patiently waiting for Steve. A frog falls to the bottom of a 30-foot well. Each morning, the frog climbs 3 feet up, but each night it slips 2 feet down during sleep. So at the beginning of the first day, the frog has 30 feet to go. At the beginning of the second day, it has 29 feet to go, and so on. How many days does the frog need to escape from the well? At the beginning of the 28th day, the frog will climb the last 3 feet and escape. Ribbit. All right, your brain must be boiling by now. Let's give it a little break. Try to find the hidden animals in these pictures. Here's the first one. Did you notice this bird right here? Now on to the second picture. Yep, it's a butterfly right here. Now, the trickiest of them all. There's a chameleon hiding in this forest. Can you spot it? Well done!